Hey, it's Hannah here, working on some horse agility training with my horses. I like agility because it gives you variety in your training, which is fun, and you can also work on despooking, body awareness, and fitness as well. One of the ways I like to structure my training sessions is to set up an agility course where I can adapt the level of each obstacle depending on which horse I'm working with. And then I'll go around the course maybe 3 times with each horse, spending as much time as we need each obstacle. So in this video, you can see me working with 5 of my horses and how I adapted each of the obstacles to suit the level of the horse that I was working with. Okay, so first up, we've got bending, and I'm working with Heather, who's just learning this. So the first thing I teach them is to go out and around and come back to me. Go out, around the pole and come back to me. Now, I've got the stripy kind of stabilizers up to help guide the horses more easily through the weaving, because I'm working on them learning how to do it themselves, so they will be faded out in future. But once your horse is happily following your cues by their side, then you can start to build up into trot and obviously fading out the rewards, asking for longer duration, that kind of thing as well. So that was India working through it there. Now I'm working on getting them to really go through the weaving themselves. So one of the first things I do is start to get them to follow me through it, but at a bit of a distance, as you can see me doing with Toby. Now Toby's my old pony, he's kind of 30-ish, so we just keep things in walk, but it's good to keep his brain going, and he does enjoy this training. And then they all know a stay, so I can get them to stay, go to the distance and the other end, and you can see I'm really using my body cues to help guide them through at this stage, but starting to fade them out, so he's starting to figure it out on his own.
And this one, that's amazing! Superstar. Superstar.
And then Rowan's a bit further on in this, so she's doing it in trot on her own, and you can see that she doesn't need me nearly so much. I can just stand at the other end, so she's starting to get to the place where I can fade out some of the guides, and I think she'll still be able to do it on her own. The next object was standing in a hoop with the 2 front feet while you walk around your horse. So here's Freckles' first go. And again, they've done lots of mat work and standing in hoops and things before, and they all know stay because it's one of the first behaviours that we teach with connection training. But it doesn't always go smoothly. You can see India getting in a bit of a muddle. So here I'm just using my cues to help get her back into the middle.
Super. Ah, we lost it. Pause again.
So just messy sometimes, no worries. And then when she's in the right place, then I do the ask her to stay.
Good.
Now with Rowan, this has been a really great exercise because she's a rescue pony who arrived with a huge amount of fear with things around her feet. So we've done loads of work with her, standing on mats, kicking poles, having things touching her feet, and that'll be okay. So it's really nice to see the progress here. Heather's been a challenge in a different way because she's been really happy to stand on everything and kick things. So to get her more careful and slower, we've really been working on getting her to be more thoughtful about where she's placing her feet and more controlled with it as well, which you can see is paying off. Then the next one is a despooking one where we had to pick up an umbrella and then walk by my side while I was holding the umbrella. So again, Freckles has obviously done some of this before, but the umbrella was new to Rowan, so I was getting her to target it. Now, at the beginning, you might just get your horse to target the umbrella before you've even opened it, but I've done a bit of that kind of stuff with Rowan, so it was a new object, but you can see I didn't hold it too high, and I was just getting her to go a couple of steps until she could touch it, and then rewarding her so that we could keep her under threshold, nice and confident, and just gradually build that up. My umbrella's not very useful, it has a big hole in. Perfect for horse training.
Let's see what you think of this.
And then the same with Heather, this is a bit new for her as well. So Heather's not as anxious as Rowan about new things, but she does occasionally get a little bit worried. So again, just taking it slowly, I want to make sure she's got a good experience, but you can see she was like, okay, I'm fine with that. And then India, who also has done loads of this before. You can see it's happy to walk by my side with her head under the brolly.
Nice, good girl.
Okay, the next obstacle was 2 long squidgy mats that they had to walk on and back up along. Now again, they've all seen these mats before. These squidgy mats are great for building their body awareness and also for working on their stabilising muscles. So it's one of the exercises I use a lot in my gymnastic groundwork exercises. But getting them to back up on it is really good too, because they also have to stay straight in order to keep their feet on it. So it's quite a challenge. Again, if it's new to your horse, the first thing I'd be doing is getting them just to, rewarding them for sniffing the mat, maybe just standing on the mat with their front feet at the beginning. So you really can adapt it and tailor it to your horse. And then the last 2 obstacles were going through the curtain. And the curtain, again, is one that all of mine have learned before, starting off just with an archway and building up. But you can see Heather was a bit like, oh, it's been a while, not quite sure I can push through it. Took a little bit of reminding, and then she was like, oh yeah, I've done this before, this is okay. And then some poles or a jump with some boxes piled high. So there's a gap between them at the moment, so all Heather had to do was walk between the boxes, and I'm just letting her explore it and rewarding her for calm exploration of this new obstacle at the moment. I like to get lots of random objects out so they really get used to seeing lots of different things. And once she'd done that a couple of times, then we could try it in trot, which was really cool, and you could see that she was going through it on her own without me there. And then this time I let her find her own way through the curtain. So of course, if your horse is anxious about these things, you will have to back right off, maybe just start with a hoop and things. But all of these guys have done the preliminary training before. So Toby's not bothered about curtains at all. And again, he's older, been there, seen it, done it. Not bothered about the boxes, but told me quite clearly that he wasn't really up for going over poles today. So because he's retired, he's got some issues in his back and stifles, so no problem. What I could have done is just made a corridor with the boxes without the poles if I'd wanted. Then once they're confident, we can start to build up to trot, and with Freckles at first, I jumped over the boxes before him to give him that confidence. And then once we'd done it a couple of times, I was able just to ask him to jump it on his own. And this was good for Freckles because he finds jumping over strange objects quite tricky, so it was really good practice. And then India's just a pro. Higher jump, no problem. Can canter through it all.
Fantastic.
So I hope that's given you some ideas of how you can work with horse agility obstacles and really adapt it to the level of your horse.
Good job.
Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed that video and liked the way of training horses and think this is something that you'd like to do with your horse, then please check out the Connection Training Club, which is our online membership site where you can learn exactly how to use connection training with your horse. We've been running it for over 10 years, and it's absolutely chock-a-block full of training videos. So in our home study courses, you can find out exactly how to get started and adapt the training to work with your horse. We've got a whole course on despooking, which of course works through things like the targeting spooky objects for things like the umbrella training. We've got a gymnastic groundwork course, which really helps you to, first of all, understand more about healthy equine movement, and then building up right from starting with leading, getting more connected in leading, teaching backup, but then up to things like working with poles, overcoming pole fear, helping your horses to be more careful and body aware of things around their feet, and working with boards and mats and pedestals, all that kind of stuff. And then we've also got one on jumping and obstacle training. So there you can learn more about the free jumping, the recall A to Bs, so where we get them to stay and call them back to you, like we saw with the weaving, and we've got loads of obstacles, step-by-step obstacle training in there as well, which of course covers things like some of the despooking, some of the body awareness, how to really break it down and teach it step by step. We've also got a fantastic forum, you get extra info and blogs, we've got monthly Q&As, you can come and join us for a chat, ask your questions directly, you get access to all of the recordings. We have monthly challenges, we do member video reviews, we've got study groups going on, so you get loads of support as well. You get instant access to all of these home study courses as soon as you join, and you can cancel at any time. So if you're wanting to give it a try, then it's really no risk, just sign up for the first month, come and have a look, see if it's something that you like. We would absolutely love to have you and your horses as part of the CT Club. So to find out more, head over to connectiontraining.com. You can find out more information about us, our approach, and you can find out more about the CT Club and sign up there. If you haven't yet, then you can also find out more info in our book. So head over to Amazon and search for Connection Training. It was #1 Amazon bestseller for a good few weeks when we first launched it, which is amazing, and has got loads of information in there to really help you understand how connection training works, how to adapt it, and how to use it in lots of different situations. So thank you again for watching, and happy horse training!